If you've ever felt that despite your prayers, fasting, and spiritual efforts, certain problems in your life just won't disappear, then it's time to understand the true source of the issue. Many of us focus on external enemies, blaming situations, people, or circumstances, while ignoring the spiritual gateway within our own bodies. That gateway is your navel, the very place where life entered you from your mother's womb, and spiritually, it is a portal that connects your soul to your family bloodline. It's not just a physical mark, it is a sacred access point that can either bring divine blessings or leave you exposed to demonic manipulation. If your life has been filled with repeated setbacks, unexplained failures, or spiritual attacks that seem impossible to overcome, it may be because your navel gate is unsealed. Evil spirits, witches, and generational curses often use this spot to monitor, delay, and oppress your destiny. They don't need to be physically near you. They can manipulate your dreams, confuse your mind, block your finances, and scatter your relationships from afar. Every time you feel unusually tired, stuck in life, or under attack even after prayer, it's likely that this spiritual gate is being exploited without your knowledge. If you've noticed strange dreams, sudden sexual encounters in the night, or mysterious disruptions in your life, don't dismiss them as coincidence or imagination. These are signs that demonic forces or spiritual manipulators are accessing your navel gate. The enemy doesn't always need fire or overt attacks. Sometimes, subtle access through this spiritual portal is enough to disrupt your life at its foundation. And here's the key. Many people anoint their doors, their heads, or their possessions, but leave the most important gateway unprotected. The root is still open, so the branches remain vulnerable. If you want to truly protect yourself, you need to understand that your navel is more than a physical part of your body. It is a spiritual umbilical cord that remains connected to your ancestry even in adulthood. Any sacrifices, covenants, or decisions made by your ancestors without your consent can still operate through this gateway. Witches, occult practitioners, and monitoring spirits know this secret. They understand that controlling your navel gate gives them influence over your reproductive health, financial stability, and mental clarity. Once they gain access, they can manipulate your life subtly, yet profoundly, and often this access goes unnoticed until patterns of struggle have persisted for years. If you are ready to take action, there is a divine solution that works using a combination of natural elements and spiritual authority. This is not superstition, it is spiritual warfare at the highest level, using God-given elements that prophets, priests, and ancient believers employed to shield themselves from darkness. The solution is simple yet powerful. A mixture of olive oil, sea salt, and crushed bay leaves, prayed over and applied directly to your navel. This formula destroys monitoring networks, silences spiritual whispers, and seals your body against demonic interference. The key is faith, intention, and obedience. When done correctly, it becomes a spiritual shield no enemy can penetrate. If you are preparing to anoint your navel, begin by purifying the ingredients. Olive oil represents the anointing of God's Spirit, sea salt purifies and protects, and bay leaves carry prophetic and protective power. As you combine them, pray over the mixture, asking for divine authority and protection over your body, your mind, and your soul. Speak with clarity and intention, declaring that no evil, curse, or manipulator may enter your spiritual gate. Remember, this is not magic, it is obedience, faith, and spiritual alignment. If you apply this anointing daily or whenever you feel spiritual pressure, you will notice subtle but profound changes. Dreams become clearer, mental confusion fades, relationships stabilize, finances improve, and your overall spiritual energy is renewed. The navel, once a weak point of access for spiritual forces, becomes a sealed, protected gateway, fortified against all forms of monitoring or manipulation. Over time, this practice doesn't just block attacks. It reshapes your spiritual foundation, allowing divine blessings to flow freely into every area of your life. If you're concerned about generational curses, ancestral covenants, or unexplained challenges that have persisted through family lines, know this: your navel is the command post where these influences enter. By anointing and sealing it, you are not only protecting yourself, but also breaking the spiritual legal ground that allowed curses and manipulations to persist. Each application is a declaration of personal authority, signaling to every spiritual observer that your life is protected and off limits. If you struggle with consistency, remember that this is not a one-time ritual. Spiritual warfare requires persistence, faith, and mindfulness. Each time you anoint your navel, you are strengthening your spiritual armor, reinforcing your boundaries, and asserting the divine order in your life. You don't need complicated rituals, elaborate ceremonies, or external tools. What you need is obedience, clarity of intention, and the right elements, all aligned with your faith. If you've experienced unexplained miscarriages, reproductive challenges, or sudden sexual dreams that disturb your peace, these are often signs of spiritual interference through the navel gate. Both men and women can be affected, as the navel is a central point of life energy and spiritual authority. When left unsealed, it allows external spiritual forces to manipulate your body, mind, and soul. By applying the anointing, you are not only protecting yourself, but also reclaiming the authority that is rightfully yours. If you've been praying, fasting, or performing spiritual exercises for years without seeing results, it is not because you lack faith. Often, it is because the root spiritual gate, the navel, remains open. Sealing this gateway amplifies all other spiritual practices. Imagine trying to protect a house while leaving the front door wide open. No matter how strong the walls, the enemy can still enter. Your navel is that front door, and the anointing is the lock that secures it permanently. If you feel hesitant or skeptical, that is natural. Spiritual truths often challenge our understanding, especially when they involve parts of the body we normally consider only physical. But the evidence is in the results. Countless spiritual warriors and believers have discovered that by applying the olive oil, sea salt, and bay leaf mixture, the persistent attacks, strange dreams, and unexplained setbacks that plagued them for years simply vanished. It is a practice of obedience, faith, and alignment with divine order, and its effects are transformative when done sincerely. If you are ready to act, here is a simple way to begin. Cleanse your space, prepare your ingredients, and pray over them with intention. Speak clearly as you apply the mixture to your navel, declaring, "I seal this gateway in the name of divine protection. No evil may enter. Every curse, monitoring spirit, and generational attack is broken and rendered powerless against me." Repeat this daily or whenever you feel spiritual pressure, knowing that the divine presence now guards the sacred gate within your body. If you want to take it further, combine this anointing with prayer, meditation, and mindful spiritual awareness. The more consciously you align yourself with divine authority, the stronger your protection becomes. Your navel, once a point of vulnerability, now becomes a fortress, a command post where no spiritual adversary can operate. Over time, you will notice a shift in your life. Clarity of purpose, restored energy, improved relationships, financial stability, and a profound sense of spiritual freedom. If you are inspired by this practice, consider sharing it with others who may benefit. The gift of spiritual wisdom multiplies when shared, and by helping someone seal their navel gate, you are contributing to their liberation and protection. Your act of obedience not only strengthens your life, but becomes a ripple of divine influence in the world. If you are watching this now, take a deep breath and commit to your spiritual authority. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a sovereign being with the power to protect, restore, and bless your own life. The navel anointing is more than a ritual. It is a declaration of your faith, a shield against darkness, and a tool for transformation. As you implement it, watch how your life aligns with divine favor, and notice how spiritual attacks lose their grip, leaving you free to thrive. If you want to deepen your practice, Golden Wisdom is here to guide you. We provide spiritual insights, teachings, and tools that help you reclaim your authority, break generational curses, and walk in divine protection. Engage with us, explore our teachings, and apply the wisdom consistently. This is your opportunity to experience freedom, protection, and empowerment in ways you may never have imagined before. If you are ready to take the first step, do not hesitate. Gather your ingredients, prepare your heart, and apply the anointing with faith. The results may be subtle at first, but each day you practice this, the spiritual gate becomes stronger, the curses weaker, and your life brighter. You are not alone in this journey. Divine power, ancestral alignment, and spiritual protection are now at your command. If you follow these steps with intention, patience, and faith, you will witness what many have described as miraculous transformations. Dreams clarify, mental confusion lifts, relationships stabilize, finances improve, and a profound sense of peace fills your life. The navel, once a vulnerability, is now a sealed gateway, a protected command post, and a channel for divine blessings. If you commit to this, remember that spiritual authority is an ongoing practice. Continue to anoint, pray, and maintain awareness of your spiritual gate. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small, because each victory reinforces your shield and asserts your authority. The enemy may test, but they cannot penetrate a life faithfully protected and aligned with divine principles. If you are ready to reclaim your life, start today. The navel anointing is simple, accessible, and profoundly effective. With olive oil, sea salt, and bay leaves, you are not only sealing a gateway, you are declaring your freedom, your authority, and your spiritual sovereignty. Every curse broken, every attack neutralized, and every blessing allowed to flow freely is a testimony to the power of obedience and faith.